I think it was probably in the summer of 1998. I hosted a dinner at the residence. One of the things I used to like to do, and I talk about this in the book, is I would periodically have a dinner where it would be built around a theme. And so at this particular dinner, the theme was Ukraine's national security. So we had several deputy ministers of defense and foreign affairs, some members of the parliament. We had some people from the National Security and Defense Council, and we had some think tankers. And I guess about halfway through the dinner, I said, okay, let me pose a question. That is, what is the single greatest threat to Ukrainian national security today? And there's a pause. Someone at the end of the table says, Ukrainians. And we all laughed. But then there was kind of a really interesting discussion where it came out that, this was a discussion in 1998 saying the biggest single threat to Ukraine was the inability of Ukraine to come up with a strategic vision. What's the goal? How do you get there? And then have a plan to implement that. And that, at that time, was seen by this table as a bigger threat than any outside threat. Obviously, since 2013, 2014, clearly Russia is a huge threat. But there really are these two threats that sort of reflect the two problems that Ukraine needs to address today. One is, how does it rebut, defend against, deter Russian aggression, particularly in eastern Ukraine now, but there's also the longer-term question of Crimea. But at the same time, while doing that, how does it go through with the reforms, make those reforms, in fact, implemented in a way that makes Ukraine a more successful state, a state that looks more like a European state, following the path of, say, Poland and the Baltic states. And so overcoming those two challenges are really the big thing that Ukraine has to overcome in order to succeed, in my view.